What is up, Drama Alert Nation? Let's get right into the booking as we have. Sorry, I got coronavirus. As we head into the go home Raw for Royal Rumble. Now, the ending might be a little wonky. I'm just going to throw that out there, so bear with me. Because some things were brought to my attention that I didn't even know. So, in an open show match, Orlando Jordan comes out to take an L to Big E Langston, trying to just get Big E over. It's not really working so far, but, it's Big E, so, he's just debuted and stuff. He's technically still in FCW. I'm just trying to bring him up, but he's one guy I do want to have. And we have basically the Royal Rumble main event hype, as well as hyping up the Ultimate Fan Experience. These last two episodes are the last time you're ever going to be in this contest, and because Royal Rumble will be out. So remember to comment once, comment on all the video. Well, you can't comment retroactively. I mean, I guess you can. I'll probably take that for a thing. But remember, if you comment, if you win, you get to book a WrestleMania pre-show match, as well as have yourself win the Ultimate Fan Experience. You will be on an episode of Raw. Who knows what will happen? I do, but you don't. So, yeah, we're just hyping up the main event. Miz Morrison, Triple H, Brock, Paul Heyman, Randy Orton. Basically, John Morrison is basically just, being fucking screwed and is told he will be in the main event again after Brock Lesnar ate his ass on the last Monday Night Raw. And, is this it? I think this is it, so there should be no spoilers. Yeah, Triple H hasn't turned. I didn't even understand how this worked, so hopefully, let's see, will it work? Okay, okay, it was a complete disaster, okay. So I'm not sure how, I've literally haven't done, a face turn in a while, or a turn in a while, so I don't know how that works, but whatever. It's annoying, but whatever. I'll just pay him some money. Speaking of Royal Rumble, we hype up various Royal Rumble appearances. All these men are going to be in the Royal Rumble, regardless of matches they may or may not have. They've all booked themselves in the Royal Rumble. Bray Wyatt talks about he will have his match with Chris Jericho. Sabin and Shelley, they talk about, how they were the tag champions, and now both of them, they're going to win the Royal Rumble at the same time and challenge both the World Heavyweight and WWE champions. Wade Barrett says not only will he be in there, but his brethren in England's finals will be there. Evan Bourne, who's nervous around Mao, is there with Tokyo Pimp, and they both have a very little segment where they announce they're in the Rumble. Kane, on behalf of the Dynasty, will be there. He hints that he's not the only Dynasty member there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Santino Marella as well. Santino Marella, he's there. In 84B+, Chris Hero defeats Dolph Ziggler in 1623. This, I'm going to assume, short match length. Oh, no. Lack of associated storyline. Oh, because the tag team was kind of... That storyline had some low heat. Chris Hero defeated Dolph Ziggler in 1623 with an Emerald Elbow, following interference from all of the Shield. Perfect Fortune cannot pick up a singles win, just because the Shield have been swarming them, at least here on Raw. And they continue to do this as Ted DiBiase Jr. tries to run in, but he's no match for the numbers game as the Shield give both of them triple power bombs. And also should be noted, as they look in the microphone, they basically warn Damian Sandow and Curtis Axel to stay out of their way when they win the World Tag Team Champions this Sunday. So, bringing, the fact that, the Saviors of Perfection are going to be in that match as well, that. And in 88B+, Bray Wyatt defeats the old god Chris Jericho in 1848. After, he doesn't use the ropes for leverage. It's just because, he basically plays the mind games, especially with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper at ringside. They help him play those mind games, allowing Bray Wyatt to hit the Sister Abigail for the win on Chris Jericho in 1848. I just want to check if, Jericho's nearing the end here. Unfortunately, I would have liked to book more Jericho, but, maybe in the mid-card. But his time in the main event scene is just kind of coming to an end, unfortunately. And, wow, this did really fucking good, all things considered. Well, they both have great tag team chemistry. The Gatecrashers defeat the Coven, representatives of Melissa and Lyra Tempresta, the main tag team force of the Coven. One Velvet defeated Lyra Tempresta with a double knee backbreaker. Astra tried to run in on Katie Lee, but this was stopped by AJ Lee running in on behalf of the Faces, bringing in that tag team. And after this segment, basically, there is a small brawl that happens out, and a familiar face we haven't seen in a while comes out. And that's Madison Lane. Madison Lane comes out. Her and AJ Lee have so much history, all things considered. But she comes out, and she actually helps the Faces clean house. I forgot. Trish Stratus was supposed to come out. Trish Stratus, the GM of the women's division, comes out and says that she's sick and tired of the Coven always running interference on matches, so no active Coven member is allowed to be in the match. There's no interference, basically, on AJ or Astra's part from their respective friends. Is this a little vague? Maybe, but whatever. But AJ Lee and Astra are going to go one-on-one in a fair fight at the Royal Rumble. Who will win? And next we have John Morrison versus Randy Orton's shitty little mind. Basically, Brock Lesnar. God, if I do one more person who's on screen who's supposed to be off, I'm going to die. But basically, John Morrison goes up to Randy Orton and basically just talks some shit. Not to him, but about the Dynasty. He goes, do you really think Triple H and The Miz give a shit about you? It's like CM Punk said. And when I'm agreeing with CM Punk, shit's, off. Randy's like, you don't understand. I have a loyalty to this business. To make this, but WWE is at the forefront. And Morrison's like, oh, shove it up your ass, Randy. We all know why you're here, because you want that WWE title. You haven't held it in a long, long time, more than over a year. You couldn't get the World Heavyweight Championship. Now you want the WWE title. But you know what? I think the most important thing here is, I think you need to really think about that title match that was promised to you, and if you really will get that. And that he walks away, and Randy kind of thinks about that. Speaking of Madison Lane, she has a match. And she works wonders, just circles around the ring of Alicia Fox, hitting her with the raindrop, or the lane drop, as we would call it in WWE. And then afterwards, Michael Cole steps into the ring, he shits himself, and he cuts an interview segment. Basically asks Madison Lane where's she been, and what does she think of the Divas title. And she said after she lost to AJ Lee, she did some soul searching, She realized she was still being the person, the failure that she was in that other company that we're not going to talk about. And then she was fighting the same people and the new people. She could beat the old people like Velvet, people like Katie Lee. When it came down to AJ Lee, she really just was not prepared. She was not prepared for that level of athleticism, that level of intensity. And she realized AJ Lee was right, that she wasn't a wrestler, she was a diva. And she has trained, she has worked her way up. Hopefully, she has become a wrestler. At least that's what Madison Lane on. She walks away. She kind of sounds a little heelish when she says these things, especially when talking about the other TNA cohorts, but, it is what it is. And Evan Bourne and Yujiro Takahashi, they team up once again to defeat England's finest once again. Nicholas Magnus, fucking 82 from my boy. I wonder NWA put the title on the boy. But all things regardless, 87, when Evan Bourne defeated Doug Williams by pinfall with a shooting star press. And after that, Wade Barrett joins his cohorts to beat the shit out of the two. But Alex Riley runs in, shows up, and, I forgot to mention this. Basically, in a match that had happened on Superstars, the commentators point this out. I was going to put it on Raw, and then I forgot to, and then I was going to put in this one. I accidentally put it. I pre-booked it, but accidentally went to Superstars for some reason. Alex Riley fought Wade Barrett and Randy Orton. It was Alex Riley, Kane, and Randy Orton. So two Dynasty members manhandled Alex Riley. The loser of the match is number one in the Royal Rumble. And Alex Riley looked to have that match won, but then Wade Barrett showed up and fucked him over. So Alex Riley has more beef with Wade Barrett. The winner of the match was Randy Orton, who is number 30. Yes, he does have a title shot and is in the Royal Rumble. Is that a disadvantage? Well, there's two ways to look at that. I haven't booked myself in court. You see, the Dynasty are assholes. I don't think it takes a lot to know that. So they do want an amount of security. And being number 30 gives you a good shot at this. They wanted it, basically the story of, it should have been Kane. But Randy Orton kind of slid in and won at the last minute. Well, after the Wade Barrett interference, Kane looked to take advantage of that. But it was Randy Orton who did it instead. And Kane kind of just let it happen. But At the same time, with Randy, it is kind of odd that the Dynasty, someone who they trust, this man, quote unquote, to be in 2 matches. A little thing Randy to think about, if you know what I mean. I'm doing storytelling. I'm basically trying to write stuff that, I'm basically trying to tell you what I've written without you thinking about it. Because I suck at writing sometimes, but hopefully the message gets the point. But after he runs up and he goes, you talk about, how they have the Royal Rumble, but you know what? He doesn't give a shit. Wade Barrett's ruined his life enough. He wants to team with Evan Bourne and Yujiro Takahashi to take on Evan's finest at the Royal Rumble, and that match is officially made after the commercial break. These 3 versus these 3, 6-man tag, your usual stuff. And Daniel Bryan then is on the mic, and he talks about CM Punk's promo that he had cut the week before, and he goes, you know what, I agree, Punk, you cheat, but you know what, you are right. This is wrestling, and I should expect better. I am going to use you to prove myself. Not use you in a sense that you're washed up. Use you in a sense that you're bad. No, you are a great wrestler. And what better way than to beat a great wrestler to cement yourself as the best wrestler in the world today? It's just common sense. And I understand. I really do. What you think of me. But it's okay. I think the same way of you. I think you're overrated. I think your straight edge is just a gimmick. And I may do the yes, and I know you don't like that, but at least I don't go around trying to peddle myself as a generic dare officer. But you know what? That's probably the WWE leaking into you. At Royal Rumble, we're going to have a match, like you said, that will blow the house down. I'll see you there, kid. He says kid like an asshole. Like he's like a tweener, in a tweener kind of sense. Basically, John Morrison didn't know who his opponent is. And this I booked this because I thought the heel turn wouldn't happen then. But Triple H basically comes out and says to John Morrison that he will be the opponent for John Morrison. So Triple H laughs a little bit. Ha ha ha, I am the, I am actually in the Royal Rumble. You didn't, or not Royal Rumble, I'm sorry. I'm the opponent. It's a shitty angle that I booked. I fucked it up. And in 97, Triple H defeated John Morrison in 2025 by pinfall with a pedigree following interference from The Miz. In 97, these two did awesome. John Morrison obviously carried most of it, but John Morrison is great. He is the underdog here. So hopefully the fans are sympathetic. Hopefully you are sympathetic. And maybe, just maybe, with this Fatal 4-Way can happen. And after that, The Miz slides in to beat the shit out of John Morrison, because these two hate each other, obviously. Randy shows up to join in the fun. When out comes Brock Lesnar storms his way to the ring, and Triple H gets the fuck out of there, because he can't sacrifice that. It's a little moment that you think, that's odd that Triple H would sacrifice his 2 main guys for. They get kind of element. And as he walks up the ramp, someone in a hoodie walks up behind him. You can't see who it is until he gets really close. And he has a kendo stick. Kofi Kingston shows back up and says, "Hey, what's up, bitch?" And just beats the living shit out of Triple H as the brawl is happening in the ring. Security rush out and they grab Kofi. They're forcing him out. Triple H is screaming for them to get him out. Kofi is he's furious. He has been suspended indefinitely by Triple H. And kind of like Sting in WCW, he just shows up to beat Triple H's ass. But he is forced out for now. Is this the last we'll see of Kofi Kingston? I don't think so. So we'll end the show with that. 96A star to go home on Raw. Awesome show. This will probably do better than actual Royal Rumble. Well, it might do. It depends on the main event does. I think the main event will do pretty good. It is not the Royal Rumble, just because if you play TEW, Battle Royals just do not, they just don't work. Well, they work, and I think that's fair, because, there's not many Battle Royals that you're like, oh man, this is the greatest match of all time. Like, it's just, it's a Battle Royal. It's always going to be handicapped by that, and it makes sense. But, I wish it was done a little bit better in TEW. But all things considered, great stuff from here. Always good to see, and I'll see you guys for the go home of SmackDown.